Hello, welcome to Stories in Time. My name is Eloise Schottler. Have you ever had a story in your mind that you knew from a long time ago, but it slipped away? Well, that's what happened to me, and I found it again this morning, so I'm going to share it with you. It is a folk tale from Africa. And I find that in those folk tales, there's often a lesson as well as an enjoyable story. One day, a man was walking along the road on a very hot day. He couldn't go too fast. He was old and the air was tight and he was tired under the sun. And he looked down. He heard this hissing nearby. And there was a snake on the side of the road, and a large rock, had fallen down on that snake and pinned it under the rock. It couldn't get away. It could not move away. And the snake looked up when he saw him, and he said, "Help me, I can't move." And the man was a very kind-hearted man, but he didn't move close to the snake yet. And the snake said, "Help me, I'm going to die here in the sun. Help me move this rock. If I move that rock, you'll bite me." No, why would I want to bite the man that's just saved me? Save me, please. And it touched him. I mean, he was a kind-hearted man. And he reached down and he pushed that rock off, and the snake moved about, got his breath back, and as soon as he did, he raised up his head and he showed his big fangs, and he came forward. "I'm going to bite you now." You can't. Why would you bite me? I just saved your life. You yourself said I was a snake, that I would bite you. You were right. Now stand there. I'm going to bite you. I'm not. Wait a minute, the man said. Just hold back. Do you think it's fair that after I have helped you, that you would turn on me and bite me and kill me? "Who said anything about fair?" said the snake. "Well, maybe not just yet, but I'd like to ask a few of the other creatures in here to see what they think about this. It doesn't feel fair to me." So he agreed, and about that time, a hyena passed by. And they stopped it. The man reached out and stopped the hyena and called him over and said, "We have a question. This snake was here, and there was a rock on its back, and I pushed the rock over, and I saved his life, and now he wants to bite me and kill me. I don't think that's the right way to do this. What do you think?" And the hyena looked him over. And he wanted to be sure what he should say in a situation like this. And he was also thinking that if the snake did jump out and bite him and the man died, it would be a great feast for him, because a hyena could eat the flesh. And he said, "Well, I don't want to get involved. And he ran on off. So there was no answer yet. We need to ask another person. You can't take his word for it. He didn't really think about what he was doing. We have to ask. And a rabbit came by. Hop, hop, hop down the road. And when it got closer, the man reached down and held his hand out and stopped the rabbit. "We have a question. It's a question of fairness. We want to ask your opinion." The rabbit was twitching and he wasn't comfortable being there. And about that time, the snake raised his head and he looked deep into the rabbit's eyes. And he said, I had a rock on my back. This man moved it so that I could move, and I'm a snake. He thought I might bite him, and I'm going to. And the man stepped up and he said, do you think that's fair? I saved him. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's fair? And the rabbit, looking still into the snake's eye, knew that there was nothing good here for him at all. Not at all. Because the snake was going to bite him if he sided with the man. He would. He knew he would. So he says, well, I don't really like to get involved in these things. I think you ought to just do what you want to, he said to the snake, and he hopped off as fast as he could, leaping over boundaries of the road and over anything that was in his way, and he was gone. That's not fair. That's still not fair. We haven't had a good answer. That's not fair. And here came a jackal. And they stopped the jackal, and he stopped and he looked. And the man said, we have a situation here. We need an answer. I came along this road. There was a rock on this snake's back, and he could not move. And I didn't know whether I should move it or not and release him, but I did. And now he wants to bite me and kill me. Is that fair? Is that right? What do you think? The snake was hissing nearby. He said, well, I can't tell you right offhand. Did it happen here? Is the rock still here? And they said, yes, that's that rock right over there. It happened right here. He said, well, before I can tell what's right or wrong, or what's fair or not fair, I need to see how this happened. Snake, move back over here and lay down so that I can see where you were when this man first saw you. And the snake lay there, and he said, but I didn't look exactly like that. And the man said, no, he did not. He had that rock sitting on him. And the jackal said, well, pick up that rock and put it right down on him, and then I can tell what's fair and what's not fair. And he did that. He moved over, and he put the rock right down on the snake. And the snake started hissing and hissing. Get this rock. Get this rock. It's too hot here. I can't move. Move this rock. And the man, who had such a sweet heart, was getting ready to lean down and remove the rock again. And the jackal said, stop. Stop. What are you doing? What do you think you're doing? Do not remove that rock again, because he's going to rise up and bite you, just like he was going to do the first time. Leave it there. See what happens to him. The man looked. Well, that made perfect sense, didn't it? And the jackal and the man moved off down the road. And behind them, that snake was still hissing, help, help, help. And that's what happened that day. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you'll come back. That's a very old story about relationships.